That looks better. Okay, let's try this again. Tonight, Iconic goes Xtreme, the MyArcade GameStation Go, the AtGames Fallout, and tonight we get our first look at Arcade OneUp's T2 Deluxe. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in retro gaming and home arcade. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, taking some time out on your the first week of the NFL season. A lot of wins, a lot of losses. You know, it was pretty much 50-50 because that's the way it goes. There's a winner, there's a loser. There are ties from time to time, but they rarely happen. Sporting the Cowboys gears, despite the loss, I think they did a little bit better than I thought. Probably a little bit better than most of you have thought, although they still lost. And that's all the invitation I need to receive so much hate. And that's fine. It's all part about being a Cowboys fan. So when you win, it's just that much sweeter. Hope your team won today and exceeded your expectations and everybody's happy. The Cincinnati Bengals are just down the street. They pulled off a win. They eked out a win slightly, so that's good. I get to, live amongst people that are going to be happy for 3 days. It's about 3 days. And then we begin to complain about the upcoming loss or potential loss or whatever. It's fun. It's all in good fun. Speaking of what's all in good fun, every single week we sit back, we drink. And tonight, what am I drinking? I'm drinking a bourbon that requires a little bit of a backstory. Okay, so here's what I'm drinking tonight. Green City River bourbon. This is in Owensburg, Kentucky, just right down the street from me. I'm sorry, Owensboro, right down the road from me here. The bottle's pretty cool. You see it's got this flat face, and if you hold it up at the bottom, it's got a horseshoe. And it's not incredibly expensive. It's not really, I don't know much about it. I've never had it before. But the reason I wanted to check this out is because of another bottle that I purchased from them. Because I'm an Army vet and I'm a sucker for anything sort of commemorative, they did a bottle celebrating the 250th anniversary or birthday of the Army, the U.S. Army. So they did this really cool, let's see if I can show you that. They did this really cool bottle, and it's officially licensed or whatever by the Army. Had these the cool labels on it and everything. Can you focus? There we go. That's close enough. So yeah, this obviously is not going to be opened by me. I did pick up 3 bottles. So I got one for myself, one for my brother who was also in the Army, and then one for my oldest son who's currently in the Army now. So obviously I couldn't crack into that. I wanted to try this bourbon out. Now this is only 45%. It's not the same as the Army's. This one is 55.55%. So this is a little bit of a different mix. I don't know if it's some sort of a small batch or a special batch that they did, but I'm never going to know because I'm never going to open this. But I say never. I don't know. I guess when in 40 years, we'll talk about it. We'll revisit it maybe if I'm still around by then. But for tonight, we're going to try the standard version. This is the DSP KY10. It doesn't say small batch on it, so I'm not exactly sure what they're referring to. But anyway, this is something we're going to drink because we can't drink the other bottle. So hope everybody, like I said, hope your team has won. Still one more game left to play tonight. So Buffalo fans out there, salute. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Bourbon drinkers out there, keep an eye open for Green River. Yes, the DSP KY10. Like I said, it didn't say small batch or anything. What does it say on the back? Let's take a look. This is just a legacy revived. I'm not going to read the whole story. But yeah, so Green River makes a pretty good bourbon. That's really good. That's actually not harsh at all. It's just, it's warm. It's soothing, which is really good on those winter nights that'll be coming up soon. That's so good. That's so good. You know what would just make that even better? A second pour. Now, we can't do that because on this show, we just have one pour. That's the whole thing of the show. But you can. It's possible. You can unlock second pour tonight. If we get 10 super chats, we get a super chat goal. If we get 10 super chats of any denomination, doesn't matter, 99 cents, it doesn't matter. You will unlock second pour at the end of the show. We'll extend it by 30 minutes. It will just strictly be a Q&A session. You will run the show. Your topics, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. If you want to bash the Cowboys for 30 minutes, that's what I get. That's what I get for opening this up to you. So if you think about it, if you want to super chat and support the channel, really does help. Really do appreciate it. Okay, so every week we have something to drink. We talked about that. We also have something else. Every single week, I got a question for you This week's no different. It's over in the chat. Go over to the live chat right now if you're watching this live and vote in the poll. The poll question is pretty simple. We got 52 votes. All right, okay, so pretty good. Make sure you jump in there and let your voice be heard. Here is my question for you. Just sort of, I'm going to check everybody's temperature tonight. Here's the question. Are you optimistic about the direction of home arcade products as of right now? Not tomorrow, not yesterday. As we sit here right now, as you give these things thought, as you ponder, what is your feel? Are you optimistic? Are you optimistic? I just want to be as general as possible. Are you optimistic about things moving forward, the products that we know are coming out? You got 3 options today. Pretty simple, pretty standard. Yes, absolutely is one. I gave you a blah, an indifferent type of option. Let's say you're not really feeling optimistic or negative, and you're just sort of you're not really impressed yet, but you're not negative yet. And then your third option is no, there's nothing to get excited about. So you got 3 basic options. Jump up there and let me know what you think. I want to get the votes up there as high as we can possibly go to get an idea of just generally speaking where everybody's at, because I think it's a pretty valid question considering the information we have and don't have. Pretty crazy. Okay, so we talked about what I'm drinking. Hopefully you're kicking back, you're drinking something good. Hopefully you don't have to go to work too early. Maybe you can get the day off. Who knows? Maybe some of you are trying to burn up the rest of the last remaining remnants of your summer vacation before you got to kick it into winter mode. I am not in that situation, but I am traveling to Texas tomorrow, flying for a job, so I get to sleep in because we got a later flight. It's like right at noon. So that's great. That's perfect. So I'm gonna get to sleep in just a little bit. So if we go over the second pour, I'm not gonna be mad at you for sure. Unlock it. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing. Help me drown my sorrows and my grueling loss this week to the Cowboys. Okay, so that's enough of me talking right now. Let's start talking to you. That's right. Every single week, as well as drinking something, having a poll question, we say hi to the top 10, the first 10, possibly the best 10 comments of the night. It remains yet to be seen. Let's get started with the number 1 comment, which is, hey, a membership gift from Kevin V. Clausen. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Always appreciate you helping out the channel, supporting the channel, keeping the lights on. Really helps. And keeping me in bourbon, too. Your first question is, or comment is, I've seen everything Fox. I know how it ends. 100 years from now, your great-grandchildren will unknowingly unplug your life support to charge their mobile phones. Well, how it all ends, huh? Well, with that comment, I don't think it can get any worse. Going in the number 2 spot, the number 2 spot, the coveted number 2. They're all coveted. Let's be honest. It's Sega saying, yo, Fox and chat. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, buddy. Hope everything is going well for you. Coming in the number 3 spot is Nova Sonic 23. What's going on, buddy? Always good to see you, man. Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Fox. Oh, my. It's rough out there. It's absolutely rough out there. Top 10, yes. Number 4 spot goes to the Be Me. And you, tonight, be number 4. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Frank D is sliding into the number 5 spot. Tonight, I'm having a succulent Chinese meal. Well, indulge thyself, my friend. You've earned it, Frank. You've earned it. Coming in the number 6 spot is Angelo P. What's going on, buddy? Evening Fox and chat. Do you know how many Atari Recharge games will be on the GameStation Go and what the price will be? I will say, I'll go ahead and tell you now that there's going to be some information dropped tomorrow. I can't talk about it all tonight, but stay tuned to the channel. Tomorrow, there's going to be a couple videos dropping about all the specificity of the actual device itself. Not a complete games list, but I will say now, I think I could probably say this. I can probably let this go. There are 200 games. Don't tell them I told you. Don't say it. Don't get me in trouble. Coming in the number 7 spot is A2D2. Always a pleasure to see you, my dear. Great to see you. She says, hi, Fox and chat. Hope everyone has a great week. Hope the same thing happens to you. A phenomenal week. The best week ever. Coming in the number 8 spot is JR. What's going on, buddy? Hey, everyone. Great to see you. CP Fluid. Coming in the number 9 spot. Your name always gets me, buddy. Ahoy there, Fox. You going to the Cleveland Gaming Classic this year? I've not been invited. I've actually been told to stay away by the Arcade Anonymous group. They don't like me. They've uninvited me. So that was hurtful. I haven't ruled it out. I actually haven't ruled it out. I'm not going to have a booth or anything, but I might run up there for a day. It's not that far at all. It's about 3.5 hours from my house to there. So I'm thinking about being there that Saturday. I think it's on a Saturday. Yeah, but it's not going to be the whole week. It's not going to be me and the guys. Not everybody's going to go. But I'm thinking about cruising up there, saying hi, and just being an attendee, enjoying the festivities thereof. And then rounding out the number 10, the top 10 spot coveted. Sure, we'll go with that. Is Arcade Dave. What's going on, buddy? Happy Sunday, gamers. What do you use as a barometer to see what original arcade cabinets are good deals? Saw a T2 in Indy yesterday for 500, but it was non-working with some issues. Still a good deal? Well, it depends. So you got to ask yourself a couple questions before you begin looking at an arcade, okay? And if your goal is to have a accurate representation of the machine as it was new back in the day, that means you want to maintain the CRT, you want to do all these things, and keep everything accurate, no modifications, changes of any way, shape, or form. Then you want to go out there and you want to find something that's original, all working, and then you judge it based on the going rate of comparable cabs. The problem is that if you can't find anything, if you find one of these cabinets and it's fully working and it's got the CRT and everything looks great and there's no known issues and there's no other machines out there to compare it to, you're kind of stuck paying whatever the price is the person is asking. When you talk about issues, you have to define that. So you want the game board to work, obviously. If the guns aren't working that great, or in this case, it's guns, but in any machine, if the controls aren't working properly, usually that's easy with joysticks and buttons. You can swap those out, no big deal. But you got to have a good working board. And then if the CRT is fried, you have another decision to make. If you're trying to maintain a perfectly arcade period correct piece, then you're going to want to maintain that CRT, and that's going to be really expensive, could be really expensive. Now, if you're willing to maybe swap out a Unico or do something else, or you're not really super concerned with keeping everything 100% accurate as far as arcade accurate from back in the day, you just want a good kind of cool cab. And maybe you're open to having it be a multicade in the future. So you're not really trying to, retain this, you don't want it to be like a time capsule, and you're willing to make some changes. Then, the value is going to be based on what, how you fall into that category. If it's got a bad monitor, but everything else is great, and you don't mind swapping in a Unico or an older CRT, if you can find another one out there, you don't slap it in there, well, then rock on, do that. But it's really going to be, the question you have to ask yourself is just, what do you want? What do you really want? Now, if you want a cabinet that's all original and perfect working order, get ready to pay some big money, especially if it's a sought after cabinet. Remember, my Big Blue 3-player, all original, it's $3,000. Of course, it's fairly rare. Astro City, about $2,500 to $3,000. A decent Unico, a decent Neo Geo, Big Blue or Big Blue, Big Red. There's a lot of them out there. Actually, they made a ton of them. So you can usually find one for $500. If you're willing to do a little bit of work. Now the board is what the board is, right? You're not going to put another board in there. Those things are wired for Neo Geo boards. So once again, you just got to ask yourself what it is that you really want, and then go after it. That's all you can do, right? Give yourself some reasonable expectations. Okay, let's add everybody else real quick. We got Dan Z. We got David Dimming also in the house. Wish I was a rock star. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Jason Mod like a mofo. Gino 7823 Iffy is also in the house. JJ is here. Milkman Classic. Mr. Clutch. We got Steve Sale. Buddy, I hope you're doing really well tonight. Dane Bramage is also here. Stock Jock in the house. Calvin Wong. J-Rod. Is real gaming. Is fake? No. Is real. That's right. Always in the chat. Happy to see you, man. Scrolling down. Got Gramps Arcade is here. Miss G. Great to see you as always. Glad you're here for the conversation. John J. Also in the house. The real Zim, not to be confused with the fake Jim. And John again is on the fritz. Help the guy out. Maybe just needs another fuse. I don't know. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back. That was weird. I hit a button. I don't like that. That was scary. Okay, let me scroll back up here. And we got John still on the fritz. Evidently, I am on the fritz. Gotta watch. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Gotta not push that button again. That was freaky. Sir Stega, help me. I need all the help I can get, buddy. MSU Rich, thank you so much for being here, bud. B Curve B, always good to see you. as always. I think that's most. Becky, how are you? Your Browns, so close, girl. So close. That was a nail biter for sure, but the Bengals pulled it out. Gamer Fridge is also here. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. I think that's Calvin Wong. Good to see you. And Michael B. I didn't see the Green Bay game. What happened? Can't Detroit Love tell me? I think he's in mourning. Yeah, looks like Green Bay steamrolled the Lions. It was a beating. It was messy. And I can tell you what, Cowboys really missed Micah Parsons. Faux show. Okay, I think that's pretty much everybody. Gala Guy 88 is also here. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. And I think that's pretty much for Mike Hawkerts. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Appreciate you. Jen Rummy 76. Were you born in 76? A bicentennial baby? I'm in good company. Awesome. Okay, everybody else, Jim Pacers fan. Gotta say hi to you. And this is a good one. That mother real raw. Yabba dabba doo. Yabba dabba doo, dude. Okay, everybody. I told you what I'm drinking. Everybody kick back, relax. Remember to vote in the poll question. I got to remember not to hit that button on the mouse again. That was weird. It was like an exit, like an escape. I didn't like that at all. That was scary. I'm not going to do that again. Okay, let's go ahead and slide into the first topic. Ah, yes. Well, since I did that, all of my assets have been erased. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and kickstart this with a first look at T2 Deluxe. Now, I did not purchase the T2 Deluxe. We talked about this a lot on the channel. The reintroduction of a cabinet that I think some of us thought was probably going to be, maybe like a one and done type deal. But John Fritz, no, it wasn't your fault, buddy. It was a button. I don't know. I was on the Fritz, not you this time. So I didn't pick one up, but there's someone in the community that did pick this up. It's Michael. He wanted me to call him Michael from Texas. So I understand. Don't want to dox anybody. Michael B. Maybe you should consider that. Okay, so we're gonna go and take a look at this thing. There we go. And scroll down, and there we go. T2 first look. So overall, here is the box itself coming in. A little scratched up, a little worse for wear, I guess, but you see that it's got, pretty much the basic stuff, right? What you would expect from a Deluxe cabinet. All the Deluxe branding is there. And as I'm talking, I'm loading up all my slides again. Don't hit that button, kids. It'll wreck your show, wreck your momentum for sure. And then you see something that is really we knew this was going to be a skinny cabinet. We knew it was going to be skinny. But when you see it in person, man, it's especially when your frame of reference is that first cabinet that they came out with. That was known for being deeper. It was one of the big things, not just because it was technically the second shooting cabinet, but it was, a one game cab. That was kind of a big deal. But it was T2 and the branding and the game and the actors' likenesses and all that was a big deal, kind of a big hurdle to overcome. So I was pretty excited about it. I really wanted to check it out. I ended up getting the cab and I liked it. And one thing I really noticed was that it was so much deeper than the other cabinets. Like if you were trying to keep everything kind of, if you get super OCD, such as me, crippling OCD, the alignment of the cabinets, like this thing would jut out a lot. So you'd have to bring the other cabinets forward to match it, right? As far as the depth was concerned, this thing was noticeably deeper. Now, it's noticeably thinner. I mean, shockingly so. We talked about this when we talked about and discussed this for the first time. We had these images with some of the dimensions, and it just really drives home the point when you see this and you go back to this dimension. Yeah, I mean, 18.5 inches, 18.4 inches, when even the standard run-of-the-mill Deluxes were way more than that. I mean, they had a good 6 inch, half a foot of extra depth on these cabinets. It's really not as bad here. This render maybe isn't 100% accurate. When you see it, when you say like, wow, that's thin. That's skinny. That's something you really got to pay attention to if you're curious about having this cabinet or thinking about getting this cabinet at all. It's just crazy. I just doxed myself. Well, that's true. Matt, you do that. You just dox yourself. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, come on, Fox. Since it's football season, let me just give a go. Well, fine. I'm happy for you. Great. Wonderful. But it's noticeably thinner. Man, the depth just really isn't there. And that was one of the things, like I said, it set this thing apart. I mean, I guess it's not surprising when you compare it to these two, but it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all bad. Go back to that original cabinet. It was bigger, it was bulkier. I liked the depth, but there were some things that were sort of missing. Some complaints right off the bat. Besides PCB and game issues, which is legit. I didn't have those issues myself, but there were sound issues and all that. But as far as the physical cabinet went, one of the big things, one of the first things that I had to do was upgrade that marquee because it was really just washed out. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. It looks like they've actually fixed that. So if you get this cabinet now, you're going to have to, you're going to probably be happy with the marquee, because I can tell you, whenever I took pictures of my cabinet, that first generation, it was rough, dude. I mean, it was like washed out as could be, but look how dark this is. And Michael from Texas said, yeah, this thing is dark. He said he remarked about how just good it looks. It's so, the blacks are very black. So they had definitely come a long way. While we've lost a lot in depth, we've definitely gained some things, and this would be a plus in my mind. I mean, a marquee, especially when you consider the way these are assembled, it's not like those third generation cabinets where you could just sort of, pop out a couple screws and swap out the marquee with a different marquee and everything was fine. You have to kind of disassemble this cabinet because they all slide in from the side. And that's kind of something that they did with all the Deluxes, but this is one of the first times we saw this before the Deluxe was really a thing. But that's definitely a good thing to see. I like it when they get the artwork correct, especially when you consider how bad it is now on the side. I mean, that's just rough, guys. When you got Arnold so low because the cabinet is so skinny, it kind of, for me, it just throws off the look of the cabinet. But this is definitely a plus. I mean, I'm happy about this. I'm not mad about this at all. But there are some other. This isn't even like a change. This is just a purely a cost saving measure. Something that you really didn't know unless you bought this, really, because it's not really called out in any way, shape, or form. And that is, of course, the lack of a deck protector. See, that's something we had on the first generation and pretty much, I mean, for back in the day, the pre-Deluxe era, you always got these deck protectors, and T2 is no exception. And with it was, being in a more expensive cabinet, you definitely wanted that. Now, yeah, your hands aren't resting on this, but still, it's something that we've lost now. So here you go. Now you're looking at another cost-saving measure, another thing you're not going to get. You're not going to have that deck protector to protect your deck. Something to consider for sure. I don't like it. I don't like it at all because, like I said, it's unnecessary. And you do want that layer of protection because that is, at the bare minimum, right? That is artwork that's laying flat. And if somebody wants to sit a drink down or something, you can very easily mess that up. You could scratch that pretty easy. And so I miss that layer of protection. That's something that really at this point should absolutely be there because the width for the most part hasn't really changed. That's pretty much the same. So that's really disappointing for sure. But there's another thing that was revealed in these pictures, images that Michael sent me. I was very happy about. I took a little pride in. It's nice to see. And this is what it is. My mod lives on. Back when this thing first came out, and I was one of the first ones to pre-order it because I don't make all the best decisions in the world, but I pre-ordered this thing. And the first thing I did, the first modification I did, you remember they had those big cups that the guns would sit in, right? And it was just a cup, right? So it had a bottom, and I was worried about the cables just hanging down the front of the machine. So the first thing I did is I just took an oscillating tool and just cut the bottom off, right? Cleaned it up, and then I tucked my wires inside. And then the community took that mod and ran with it. Some of you relocated all the wires completely to where they actually fed up through the bottom of the pocket. And so you didn't see any wires at all. I still kept my wires kind of the ones that come out of the control deck from the top and wrapping around into the guns. I kept that much wire exposed and showing because I wanted to have access to the connector. But people just ran with it, and it was awesome. And it was just like a no-brainer to everybody. It's like, why have the cables exposed at all? Well, Arcade OneUp evidently saw that, and they incorporated it into the design. So now you're not going to have to worry about cutting or modifying the cabinet. If you want to tuck those wires in, you're going to be able to do that. And this is something that I'm going to take credit for the initial thought and the initial mod, but we should all take credit for in the way that we modified our cabinets, influencing design. Even though Arcade OneUp is basically ignoring us, they won't ignore us when we have a really freaking good idea. And this is definitely it. So two pluses with this new design. And it's easy to bash it because there's a lot of reasons to bash it, for sure. All justified. But two good reasons, two good things moving forward. A good marquee with decent blacks. So it's not gonna look so off-putting that you got to immediately go out and get something different. And that's gonna be another $50 or 75, depending on who you go with, right? So it's good that they got that figured out. And then also cutting the cups. Cut the bottom off and allow us to kind of tuck in those wires. It's a better design choice anyway, and it prevents, something that I was worried about, kids running by and grabbing it. I mean, you have a bunch of people over in the arcade. There's some young kids running around. That's what you want. You want kids in the arcade. It's fun. You want moms and dads and kids and everybody having a good time. That was just a hazard. So it was a good design choice. So that's two good things. Does that offset the bad things? The bad design choices. I mean, I guess a third thing would be that coin door, that molded coin door. It's nice to have that. I had to add one to my first generation T2, or the first version of the T2. So it's nice to have that. So you could maybe put that in the win column. So you got 3 pluses, I guess. But there are definitely some negatives, that depth is something that it's really off-putting. I don't like it. The height is also an issue. Talking about the height, you see this thing is noticeably shorter than pretty much everything. I mean, it's right in line with obviously the X-Men 97 Deluxe, but it's shorter than even the Capcom Deluxe, which all my cabs require a riser anyway, but it's different when you have a gun. You really want that monitor up just as high as you can get it to just take aim comfortably. You don't want to be pointing down. So that, in my mind, is another loss. But at the end of the day, knowing what we know now, and the price is something you have to consider too. After taxes, you're looking at about $640, depending on where you get this thing from. So at the end of the day, what's the final verdict on T2? The second and probably last iteration. I think that there are some pluses. There are definitely some minuses, for sure. So should you get this? I think I'm going to go back to my original position. If you wanted the original, but you missed out on it, you never got the chance to get that, and you can't find one secondhand that's in good shape. You just can't find it. This is going to be your only option. And like I said, if it was all negatives, if it was exactly the same cabinet and they took stuff away, that would be bad. But they've done the same. They've got this cabinet. They've taken a few things away, but they've actually given you a few. I'm trying to be fair with Arcade OneUp. It's so easy to bash them in the ways that they've gone astray, the ways that they've backslid, made things worse, lots worse. This is not one of them. This is just not bad. I think that for the most part, I think it pretty much evens itself out. So at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to, do you want this cabinet, and are you willing to pay $600 for it? I think a lot of you are probably going to say no. I think everybody who wanted to get this probably got it already. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing if you like Arcade OneUp, right? That's the first thing. You got to be comfortable with the quality for sure. And if you really like T2 and only T2, because at the end of the day, turn the clock back years when the first one came out, it still kind of comes down to that same conversation. One game on the cabinet. And if you're okay paying $600 for a single game cabinet that is, kind of paying homage to the original, some changes, some bad, some improvements. Once again, you have to make that calculation for yourself. At the end of the day, it is an Arcade OneUp, and it is a mixed bag for sure. Sadly, they can't all be upsides. What the hell? I just don't get it. Why can't they just move forward? Why can't they just keep everything the same, but do only improvements? They just can't help themselves, guys. They just can't help themselves. And the Slim Katie design, that skinny design, I don't. That's rough. That's rough for me. But I am a big T2 fan, and I bought the first one. If I never got a chance to get that original, I might spring for this. But after you buy it and you keep it for years and you modify the hell out of it, to reintroduce it, it's got to come with a lot of different features, a lot of things to really make it worth it. If they would have bundled, now here's one thing they could have done. If they could have done it, I know licensing and all that. If they could have talked to Aerosmith and got Revolution X put on this cabinet, and so it's still a T2 cab, exactly what you see, but it has Revolution X on it as well. Ooh, I think a lot of people would be thinking, maybe this is worth it, because you got to come with something else if you want to reintroduce an old cabinet. Okay, so moving away from arcade OneUp, which all that is super fun. Don't get me wrong, tons of fun. Let's talk about getting extreme. Yeah. Iconic Extreme. Yeah, Iconic Extreme. That's right, baby. It's where it's at. Does this look extreme? It should, because that's what they're calling it. And few things are more extreme than a $2 super chat from Kevin D. Clausen. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat, buddy. Fox, skip arcade one up. Let's talk football. That's going to be for the after show. And if you are a member, over the after show, we'll talk football, all the hopes, dreams that were smashed or confirmed this week. We'll talk about it in the after show. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat, buddy, contributing to the second pour goal. We're just 9 away. But while we're going to stay here, you got to take a special trip, buddy. You know where you're going. To the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yes, music is the weapon, even if MG disagrees. It's definitely the weapon. So this is, I just want to talk about this briefly because we've talked about this a lot. This is not the actual cabinet. This is a render of the cabinet, but this is the new dimension, the new renders, the new artwork and all that. They are renaming it Xtreme. The XT instead of the XXL. I like XT better than XXL. That's just, you don't want your acronym to be really just elaborate. Not for something like this, but you want to separate yourself from Arcade OneUp, obviously. XT, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's you could call it the big one if you wanted, bigger than most. I don't know, near full size, which is what they're kind of going for, which is exactly the dimensions that they're at. But here it is. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think about the artwork. And Michael B did point something out. The side art for Street Fighter 2 is also slightly different than what we saw in that poll that went out, because the logo, the yellow Street Fighter lettering on the side, doesn't quite touch the Ryu picture. It's a slight difference, but it is a difference. So something to consider. So which one did you vote for? Did you vote for this design, or did you vote for something else? Like I said on Super Game Room Dudes, evidently I'm out of touch with what the community wants, because my pick, the original sort of, well, not the original, but looking more like what was originally on the cabinet back in the day, that came in almost dead last. I think it was like in 4th place, I think. And it was just barely above 5th and 6th place. So it really wasn't even close. Hopefully you like it, but there you go. There it is. That's the new and improved version. Let's take another look at some of the other views of this. What do you think about the control panel? It is, the artwork is definitely different for sure. I think me personally, I think I like the diamond plate version better. This may be more accurate. I get it. I know. I've got one that's got something very similar to it, but I like that diamond plate better. I just like the way that looks better. I just think it's a better look overall. I like that it's going to have the different color buttons that are specific to that generation or those games. I'm still in the same camp. I don't know how you feel. I'm still of the same mind that I just like the Alpha better than the Street Fighter 2. And I know it's kind of sad because the Street Fighter 2 is more arcade accurate. I mean, because there was no Alpha 2 cabinet, right? There was no, and then by the time Alpha 2 came out, that was well into the CPS2 era, or maybe the beginning of the CPS2. So you're talking about, that would have been really in a Dynamo HS5. It really wouldn't have been in a Dynamo HS1. Not really. You would have definitely found Street Fighter 2 in that same area. So I have an extreme wife. Yes, you do. You said it. I didn't. You're extreme, Goofy. You're extreme. I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world. I don't like it because it's just too much Street Fighter yellow font on the top of the cab. It's way too much. You say Street Fighter too much on this cabinet. If you look at this version, look at the front. You say Street Fighter 2 on this damn thing twice. Okay, we get it. Look to the right. You only have Alpha 2 on the marquee. That's it. And you have a generic Capcom sticker, which to me, that's a little bit more accurate than what you see over there on the Street Fighter 2 control panel. It's just, it's okay. We get it. Okay, it's fine. But then you go to the side. Now you have it again. And it's all up top. I don't like it. I think what they should have done, in my opinion, personal opinion. Here's my 2 cents. And it obviously doesn't matter because I'm not, Nobody agrees with me, but it's okay. It's fine. I am a island unto myself. I think you take Street Fighter 2 off the control panel. That's not necessary. Just keep that cool 90s artwork. And then, just bring that down. Just get that back in proportions where it needs to be. Put Street Fighter 2 under the picture of Ryu like it was originally. And then if you want to keep the graphite looking stuff, the stone behind it, fine. But it's just, I don't know, just, especially when you look at it, to me, at this angle, it really just magnifies the problem. It really puts it in frame. It puts it in perspective. You have Street Fighter 2 is on here 3 times in this one view. And it's all big and yellow. And it's just like, what about balance? We have to have balance. Just, subtlety in certain ways. That's why I like the picture being a little bit smaller. I like Street Fighter 2 being under the picture of Ryu, kind of bringing that down to where you have a little bit of yellow everywhere, but you don't need it on the control panel. I think it would have been better to have Street Fighter 2 under the Ryu picture. And if you still want to leave Ryu that big, if you still want to have the rock behind it, that's fine. I would forgive all of that. But to me, it's just a little too much. I think it's a little too busy. And it just is. I just think, yeah, here we go. Less is more. That's kind of what arcades were, especially these conversion kit arcades. You had just slab-sided cabinets. Sometimes you had a decal on the side. Sometimes you didn't even have that. And it was just a marquee, and sometimes even the control panels were just generic. They just had, punch and kick, and they really didn't have a bunch of stuff on there. You didn't even always have bezels around the actual monitor. Now, in this case, obviously, you need to have some kind of bezel because you're using a 16:9. But I just think that in my mind, I would rather a little bit less. But it's not the end of the world. It could be a lot worse. I still gravitate towards that alpha cabinet because I think that it's okay if it's different because there was never one of those to begin with. And I like that. I like the fact that you get the Capcom branding. More Capcom, a little less Street Fighter, if you could maybe get that mix correct. So I'm still an Alpha 2 guy now, but the question still remains, obviously, this is just a render. I want to see a real cabinet. I want to know exactly what we're getting as far as those controls are concerned, because whenever we first saw these, they were like IL clones. Now we're looking at Sanwa clones. So, I mean, are they going to be, the Sanwa buttons are going to be concave, convex? What's going on there? I want to get a look at the wiring on this thing. I want to get a look at the encoder or just the UI. Just show me the finished version, the finished product. That's what I'm curious about. So my opinions and views still really haven't quite changed. I need more information before I'm going to pre-order. But of course, even if I was fully satisfied and ready to pre-order, you can't even pre-order now. So we're kind of in this weird holding pattern where unceremoniously the pre-orders have stopped. And yet we still haven't seen the final product. We got a pretty good render now, but we still haven't quite seen it flushed out fully. I think the expectations are a little bit higher for the first version of a product, the first iteration, that first piece that goes out. You want to get that in front of as many people as possible, many eyes all over everything. It'd be good if they finally get this thing done and we see them in some trade shows. Maybe we can see them back at CES, but this time with a full production version, so we can get our hands on it and have it on the floor, not just in a hotel room for a select few. Put that son of a gun out there on the floor. I would love it if Iconic, maybe if Lenovo had a booth and Iconic could be there in some sort of capacity to maybe save money and not have to, have the cost of a whole nother booth, right? Or maybe since this is a product launch of this is like a brand new product, almost really a brand new company. Iconic has had like one thing out there. This is big. This is high profile. I think it's worth it to have a kickoff at a big convention. I say CES, maybe you go somewhere else, but CES will get the most eyes on. And you can have CNN come back in and do a follow-up review or look at what they already saw last year and kind of give their thoughts and see if it can make a different impression. Something more polished, something more solid, and get everybody's hands on this is exactly what I'm looking for before I can even consider giving this thing a thumbs up and say, yeah, go out and get it. But then, like I said, even if you wanted to get it, where would you go? So many questions to be answered. It's an exciting time. The potential is definitely there. But until I have more answers and questions, I'm just still in the same sort of wait and see mode. Okay, moving on to something else. Something a little less happy, a little less upbeat. I know you're probably thinking, damn, Fox, we've been negative all show. Oh, it's going to get worse. It's going to, I'm confused. I'm confused. I need your help. I need your help because I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm just at a loss. Arcade OneUp was feeling some competition from AtGames. AtGames was kind of coming on strong, bringing out some new product, bringing out some good stuff, heavy hitters, powerful chipsets. You had the HD out there, the pinball machine. You had their HD arcade thing. But then they had the 4KP coming out. It came out. Oh, man, this is kind of cool. People were excited. I was apprehensive. So a lot of you were, but we were kind of thinking about it. Then there's the news of the 4K arcade machine with a better shape and all this and way too much purple lightning. We've talked about that. But still, there's some pressure coming. And the momentum was kind of building for AtGames. I'll be honest with you. You know, they made a good showing at the Pinball Expo last year. I know Gallagher Guy bought his right there at the show. I got inspired to go ahead and get one myself. That purchase came a month later. But to finally get your hands on something and play it, you realize, okay, there's something more there. It's pretty substantial. And like I said, the momentum was definitely growing with the pinball packs and the competitions and all this stuff. The community was kind of growing around this product, and things, they looked good. They were kind of going up. The price was a little bit steep, but when you finally get a good grasp of what you're getting for the money, some people took the plunge, including myself. And I think everything was going, for the most part, pretty good for a time. But then it's just amazing. Some people just can't get out of their own way. And AtGames started falling apart. And you had just self-inflicted wound after self-inflicted wound. Now, some of the issues with COVID, with supply chains, with all these things, price hikes going up, tariffs, all that stuff, that's out of their control. They can't be blamed for that at all. So the pricing kind of creeping up, well, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about that. It's all the other major issues coming directly from AtGames. And this is the thing. They can't pass the buck on this one. Major issues locking people out of their machines. It's really bad. So after months, I finally decided that I wanted to get rid of the damn thing. But before I did a video this week talking about the machine itself and what I thought of it and giving you my opinion. Should you buy this thing in 2025? Not last year, but 2025, when there's so much uncertainty out there. And my basic answer was, if you're going to buy this machine, because of all the problems that AtGames has with their updates, locking people out of their machines for days, weeks, sometimes months, not even having access to the games, all those pinball packs that they purchased. When you can't log in, and that's the thing, when you can't log in, you only have access to the games that came on the table. That's it. So if you got a starter kit because you wanted to save some money, which makes sense, you were stuck with one table. That's it. That's all you could play. You had access to nothing else. Totally locked out. It happened to me for a while until I could finally go to a second, third website and then log in and change my password. And then I could actually do it. The QR code doesn't work. You got this new security question was, hey, give us the original order number of the order for this machine. Where'd you get it? Huh? What are you doing? Huh? Is this yours? Did you buy it secondhand? And so people had to jump through those hoops. Gallagher Guy famously had the right number, gave it to him, and for some reason that didn't match up to something in their database, so he's just sitting there, stuck. That's it. So my point was in my video is, listen, buy the version you want with the games that you want. So if you just want one table and that's it, go with that one. Don't even consider the pinball packs, just for argument's sake. But my suggestion was, go ahead and get the one that has the 15 games on it. It comes with the topper because that looks really cool. Kind of, it feels like you're getting what you're paying for when it comes to that. And at the time when I bought mine, it was $1,500 plus another $100, so $1,600. I got 15 tables. I got a topper. Looks cool. You know, the downloadable packs, you have access to them sometimes. Sometimes you don't. So bear that in mind. Then they start advertising stuff like sales. Okay, well, now they're advertising sales for some HD tables, trying to push people to buy that stuff. They got this new HD version coming out, so they're not pushing the 4K anymore. It's all very weird. Then the confusion continues when you see some things like this. Not sure what's going on. They had a Facebook post talking about, hey, listen, go to Sam's and you can save some money on this machine, right? Go there and get this machine. I'm like, that's $1,600. That's not a bargain. I said, well, okay, okay. Maybe I know there was a price increase, and you're going to get free shipping, so maybe that's good. But then I looked a little further, and so what? That's the premium starter for $1,600. Well, that doesn't make any sense. What's going on? This must be some kind of a weird typo. No, kids, it's not. If you go to their website and you look at the current pricing, I haven't done this in a little while. Let me know in the chat if you can decipher this code for me, because I don't understand this at all. If you want to get in at the cheapest price, if the cheapest bundle, you want to go for the premium starter. It comes with one table, and it comes with a sticker, a control deck sticker to cover up, the AtGames 4KP logo. I bought one from Best Buy, or not Best Buy, Buy Stuff for $19, but they're going to include this in the price, the purchase price of $1,700 plus $100 for shipping, $1,800. Oh my God. For the starter? Well, man, that premium standard must be really expensive. It must be like $2,000. No, it's not. It's the same damn price. It's the same price. So, and this is only for the Addams family. It gets even worse if you look at any other table. And just to be clear, if you look at any other version, it is a mixed bag. I mean, they say that you can get a premium starter for $1,250, but none of those are available. And the tables like the Snoopy version, they're not available at all. Some of them, you just have premium standards that are the same $1,700, but there's no premium starter. It's a total mixed bag. It's crazy. This is the only one that actually has 4 models available right now for you to purchase. And there's 4 models, but there's 2 prices. The math not mathing. I don't understand. It's help me, my peeps. Help me to understand. Does the topper have no value at all? Is the topper $0? Because I thought it was a $150 add-on. That's what I thought. When I paid $1,500 plus $100 to get this thing shipped, one of the big reasons I went with the premium standard was the topper and the 15 games, the 15 tables. So I guess it's whatever you want. You want to maybe get less for your money. You can definitely go with a premium starter and pay a lot more money on their website, or you can go here. I don't understand. So don't go to their website if you want the starter, but you're only going to save $100, which isn't even the cost of the topper. That is not included. And you're also not going to have 15 games. You're going to have 14 tables instead. You're going to have 1 instead of 15. So you're down 14. And you also don't have OTG unlocked, and there's no topper, and you're going to save $100 only. Well, 200, I guess, because you're not going to have shipping if you go to Sam's Club. So there you go. So you're basically going to pay the $1,600 that I paid for my premium standard just not even a year ago. I don't do they know? Are they aware that this is on their own website? This is phenomenally stupid, people. I don't understand this at all. And $2,200 for the whole shebang, the SSF kit. $2,200. $2,300 by the time you get this damn thing shipped. I don't even know. Is it going to be more with the SSF kit? Was that installed? Yeah, pre-installed. So maybe it's probably the same. There you go. This is basically turning, for me, my opinion, I think this is just going to turn into a single skin device. You can't get any of the Attack from Mars variants out there. You can't get anything else. You're really just the only thing that's really available in all the configurations is just Addams Family. That's it. So if you see something on Marketplace that's not Addams Family, you might want to talk to that person because, that's the only way you're going to be able to get it. Now, I did try to sell mine. I said, to hell with it. I made the video. I put it up to see what I could get for it. And I paid $1,600. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to get that. So I started at $1,500 just to see what people would say. Dropped it down to $1,300. There are no known issues with the machine. No bugs. I have, the login isn't going to be an issue for you because you're buying a secondhand. You're not going to have that option. So just the 15 tables work fine. Everything works except for the left directional pad button. You can just use a flipper, so it's fine. There's no damage to the machine at all. I even took pictures of the bottom and sent to some people that were actually interested. And one guy was like, I'm going to buy it, bailed out. Another guy was like, hey, I see you dropped it $200. Why don't you drop it more? I'm like, I said, listen, I'll do $1,200. And he said, yeah, why don't you drop it even more? I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. This is stupid. I would rather have it in MyArcade, even if I lost access to all my tables, which, knock on wood, I still have right now. But even if I lost access to all my tables that I purchased, I still have the 15 that came on the machine. I'm not gonna just give this thing away when it's solid. There's nothing wrong with it, other than the potential of being locked out of everything I purchased. So here's where I came. Here's where I landed. Here's where I'm at. Not going to buy any more pinball packs. They got me for what they got me for. Okay, all right. I can tabulate that and calculate that. I know what that dollar amount is. So I can potentially be locked out of that much investment. But the rest of it works okay for now. So I'm just going to leave it as is. So I took the listing off of Facebook, and I'm going to leave it in the collection and keep it for a while and just see what happens here. Because damn it, ladies and gentlemen, what the hell? I don't see how this is sustainable for them at all. I just don't get it. I can't. I don't understand this at all. Especially this pricing is just ridiculous. I mean, why even offer a starter kit if you're just going to charge the same price? Doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. Pricing is all over the place. I don't really know what's going on with them. They're firing people left and right. Pinball packs are coming out. They're okay. Some of them don't work. The Killer Instinct was a real big disappointment for me. That whole rare pack was just disappointing. Like, it was just, I didn't like the artwork for the, listen, you're going to go with an established IP like Killer Instinct. You got to nail the artwork. That's got to be good. It's got to be correct. That's got to be right. And if you're going to mess around with that, it's like, why even bother? Why even have it at all? So I think the fallout's going to continue. I think AtGames is in real trouble. And listen, they're going to have to just admit fault. They're going to have to issue refunds. They're going to have to get off this kick. Quit being so paranoid. Just because you think that somebody sold a machine and now somebody else has their login and now they got some free tables. You can't control that. That stuff happens. You quit being so paranoid. But if the person wants access to that and they want to buy more tables, they're going to have to create their own login. They're going to have to jump in. So you'll get that money regardless. But just get rid of that mindset. Throw it away. And there is one more thing I want to do. I want to put this out there. I want to tell the community. I made that video knowing it was not going to be positive to AtGames. And the response I've gotten was incredibly rational. It's like a lot of people supported what I was saying. And because I wasn't bashing the machine in totality, it wasn't 100% piece of garbage. It's not, but it's a big issue. Everybody seems to have the same issues that I have with the company itself, which is a bad thing. It's a horrible thing, but it's also a very good thing because that means they're in 100% control of their main problem, them. So just stop, listen to us, relax, stop doing updates that you haven't fully fleshed out. If you can't fully quality control, test these things to the nth degree, don't roll out an update. Don't roll out an update unless it's 100% ready to go. Not at this stage of the game. Not with the track record that AtGames has. Now, if AtGames can course correct, which I think that they can, then it's possible they can turn this thing around. But I think that there's no doubt in my mind, this is definitely heading in the down direction. There's no more 4K arcade machine coming out. The sales have probably slumped on this, especially when you consider this price. I mean, at that price, people are looking at just used pinball machines. There's other V pins that are in this same price category that are bigger, higher resolution, running full PCs. I mean, if you get close to the $2,500, the $3,000 area, you can make some pretty badass V pins. There's some pretty awesome V pins out there, especially if you're looking secondhand. And I think they've priced themselves out of the market, and that's sad. But like I said, good thing is you have 100% control over your main problem. And unfortunately, in this case, that problem is you. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about tonight is the GameStation Go. I think that's the current nomenclature, the current naming convention that they're going with. And I'm talking about MyArcade finally coming out with something, telling us something about some kind of a price window, or not price window, but a release window for their GameStation Go. Now, what is the GameStation Go? Well, it's something that's really actually kind of cool. I had this pulled up before, so give me just 1 second so I can bring it up again. Check out the teaser that they just dropped on their social media right here. Check it out. Yeah, well, hold on. Hold on. Nope, not that. Let's try this again. Video file. Bring it over here. There, and open that. Yeah, buddy. That's right. It's October next month. So next month, the GameStation Go is coming out. We know from CES they were talking about 200 games. A lot of questions to be answered for sure. I've never seen this thing powered on. I have no idea. Well, I'll take that back. I have some idea now of what it's going to look like. There's going to be 2 videos coming out on this channel tomorrow. If you care about this at all, stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you have your notifications turned on. Subscribe if you want for more information, because that's all I can say at this point right now. A lot of details coming out tomorrow. This is basically a big handheld. I mean, it's supposed to have like a 7-inch screen, all this stuff, and it's jam-packed with Atari goodness. And this was one of a couple different machines. They had a Capcom version of this too. It's actually, I think it was Capcom, and it had all kind of games on, like Namco and Capcom and all this stuff. And I just didn't know how that was actually going to pan out. This is not that iteration. This is just the Atari version. From what I saw, as far as like just a quality standpoint, it looked good. But like I said, I never saw it powered on. You're going to see that tomorrow on this channel and on their social media. I'm sure they're going to throw some stuff out there. And yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about it, because this is definitely a purpose-built portable machine for the Atari catalog. It's going to be kind of cool if it's something you're into. But that did drop. I wanted to talk about it. I want to play the video so you could see it and let you know that I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in that. And if you're interested in this, make sure you stay tuned to this channel, because tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow, I'm going to be dropping a couple of videos with some specificity about this cool little device. If you're interested, check it out. If not, well, watch it anyway to see my beautiful face. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, no second port tonight, so it is. Go ahead. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But before we do, we got to talk about the poll question. Jump over here. Talking about the poll question, 139 votes, not bad, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody who took the time to vote. Let's talk about it right now. The question is simply this: are you optimistic about the direction of home arcade products right now? Let's go ahead and end the poll right now. Let me go ahead and hit the button, and let's go ahead and hit that, and then let's download that. We'll post that a little bit later, probably tomorrow morning. Coming in dead last at, this is interesting. So you had 3 options. So you had yes, no, or blah. This is wow. This is so it's pretty much a 1/3 split. It's kind of cool. Coming in last place was no, nothing to get excited about with 31%. Coming in the number 2 spot is yes, absolutely. So yes, I'm optimistic, 33%. The blah and indifferent option came in at number 1 with 35%. So you've got 4 percentage points between third place and first place. And it's kind of nuts, guys. Almost a 33% split all the way around. It's kind of crazy. That's definitely, I don't know. That's a little bit different than what I thought. I thought I'd maybe have more people in the blah in different category, but that is what it is. A third, yes, a third, no, a third, I'm indifferent. I don't care. It is kind of sad that we're in this position, but it really just falls back to all these different arcade companies, home arcade product companies, not coming out with anything new, with anything different. What is different is a $5 super chat at the end of the show. This one coming to us from Bushin Ryu Cat. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat, man. Fox, I've already made up my mind. I'm waiting for their GameStation tabletop version with the spinner. There you go. Thank you so much for your super chat, man. Really do appreciate it. And here you go.
Let's go. Wolverine win. Rookie.
And Soul for Sale has now become a new member. Thank you so much for joining the membership. And if you are a member, don't worry, the show is not over. You're going to be automatically redirected to the after show as soon as I end this live stream. If you want to become a member, if you're watching on a PC, go down and see the little join button, smash the join button. It's only $5 a month, and you'll have access to after shows every single week and some exclusive community posts and some exclusive videos from time to time. So behind the scenes stuff I like to sprinkle in for all the different members of the channel. The chat is insane. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy the football game tonight. I hope your team wins. If you care about the two teams tonight, members, hang out. I'm gonna go get another drink, get it all ready, and I'll see you in the after show. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and check out the channel. And I'll see you all right back here next time. Peace.